You just before last election? How was your life in 2014 around this time? Were you happy? Were you sad? How was your money situation in 2014? Was it good? Was it on the way up, on the way down? Were you feeling great about life? Were you feeling sad? Were you neutral? Hi, I'm Pattu from FreeFinCal, and in this video, these are some of the questions that I would like you to answer. You don't need to share them with me, but you can share whatever you think is appropriate. What was your life like in early 2014, just before the Lok Sabha election, and how have things improved or changed 5 years later, right now? I like to do this exercise every time there is an event like the election, like there's a football World Cup or the cricket World Cup, which incidentally is also coming up, because this helps me take stock. Of course, sporting events like these or the Olympics, they are like 4 years apart. The elections are slightly more longer. So 5 years is a big chunk of our life. We may think it's small, but actually it's a big chunk of our life. And if you actually sit down and write down changes that have happened from then to now, let's say from March 2014 to March 2019, you would actually recognize that a lot has happened. So I asked my wife, before I made this video, I asked my wife to come sit and tell me how our life has changed. Initially, she said, no, nothing has changed. Everything is the same. And then I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And then she realized a lot has happened. Then we actually wrote down a few things. It's a very good exercise to do, because it tells you how, I mean, all it. It's like almost like it's like the diary in your mind, and you're actually flipping through those pages, and it can be emotionally a good experience. Of course, sometimes it can have bad memories and so on, but that's something that you may not want to do. But I think for most people, it will be a healthy exercise to do, not just with respect to money management, with respect to everything in life. So I want to share with you some things in my life that has happened. Since from March 2014 now. So in March 2014, my mother was recovering from a bad fall. Her Now her Parkinson's are kind of deteriorated, but that time it was reasonably manageable. But she was recovering. Because of her hospitalization, we had to engage someone to take care of her during the day. So that essentially meant a sudden increase in my personal expense, in the personal expense of the family. My mother is independent because she gets pension, she gets her own pension, she gets a family pension, so she can take care of that person's, the caretaker's expense, and also her medical expense completely with her pension. So in that sense, I am lucky that she's independent. She also doesn't feel bad that she's depending on me for all these and so on. So it's good for her too. So that was a big change in our expense. So from 2010ish onwards to late 2010, I was regularly investing, and 2014, because of this, there was a big change in the way I invested. I was investing like clockwork. Every month I would have an Excel sheet, put a tick mark and so on. But from 2014 onwards, I could not do it. It took me a long time to recover. I think it took almost 2 years for me to recover from this change in the cash flow, because there's a recurring expense. See, one time there is a big expense, you feel bad about it, then you can leave it away. For example, if you have a 1 lakh hospitalization expense one time, it's okay. It's a loss. You think it's a loss, it's a waste, whatever you think, and then you move on with it. But if it happens every month, it's like 10,000 rupees, 15,000 rupees every month, then it's going to pinch you, right? It's like almost like a loan that you will never end, right? So that was the thing. In 2012, September 2012, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called myasthenia gravis. So in 2014, I was still fairly weak. I actually had during the time she was hospitalized, I had a relapse of those conditions, and that was kind of bad. But Yeah, that was okay. I mean, I feel so much better now because of my paleo diet, paleo-ish kind of diet, and so on. We'll talk about that tomorrow. So myasthenia gravis was okay. It was manageable. Then in terms of my net worth, I have shared how my net worth has improved or over time, and how my gain or loss in the portfolio has changed over time. You can see the graphs linked here. So during this time, actually during late 2013, that is around that time, roughly around the time when Narendra Modi was announced as the prime ministerial candidate of the BJP, the market started moving up. Of course, I'm not saying that's the causation. Correlation does not mean causation, but it's just it's a nice way to remember it as a milestone. Around that time, the my portfolio started moving up. Sometimes every day the market would give me a gain. The gain would be equal to my monthly investment every day. That was the kind of movement that was there. So if you see the peak, there was a time it was on the knee of the peak. It was just about to move up. So that was a change. I didn't know it much then because I was not looking at it carefully because I had so many other things in my life to worry about. So I didn't care about that. I specifically asked my wife, how have our expenses changed? Have we become more extravagant? Have you added on new expenses, or is there only inflationary increase in expenses? She of course said there is an inflationary increase in expense, but she thinks that we have not done anything extravagant. I also think so. I don't think we have added anything, what we call lifestyle creep. In terms of that, I don't think there's been any great extravagances. There are some new expenses. For example, in 2014, my wife did not even start birding. I mean, she's now a very keen bird, butterfly, insect photographer. So she told me that in 2014, around this time, she could only identify the common crow and the sparrow. Today, she can identify about 900 birds, and she's active on Instagram. She's active on Facebook, and she has gone on to a level where she has given a lecture to young people about birding, and how a woman after marriage can do so many things and so on. So in that sense, it has been a great 5 years for her. I've linked her Facebook page down below. In terms of the blog, 2014, March 2014 was kind of the time when FreeFinCal was started, May 2012ish. So we're going to get into 7 years now. May 2012ish. So March 2014, it was like a break-even point. I realized that the efforts put in were bearing fruit. So in that sense, it was okay, gaining popularity. The traffic was coming in. People were noticing it. The right kind of people were noticing it. That is important for me. And in 2014, late 2014, November 2014, we started off doing investor workshops, DIY investor workshops, but we've stopped it now. But I think we will carry forward the investor workshops online in YouTube. That's much better way to do it. We'll do that starting once my semester ends. And that's about it. I think it has been reasonable. There has been ups and downs, I think, but in terms of that, it has been in terms of money, it's been more or less okay. Somehow I feel that I discussed this with my wife. I felt that what is a big amount today is different from what was a big amount in March 2014. I think I'm a little more. I make spending decisions more quickly than I did in March 2014. I used to think, should I buy this? Do I need this? Is it too much? Is it a waste of money? I still ask myself these questions, even though I can easily afford it. I can afford 10 such products, but at the same time, I still ask these questions. Somehow I feel that because of the change in my net worth and salary, etc., that what is a big amount? That definition has changed a bit. Well, that's I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'd be a little careful. I'm worried about it. So, and with regard to my son, there was, she told me something interesting. So you may have seen my video of my son. I was talking to him about inflation. You can see that in the channel main page. I'll also link it. He's wearing a T-shirt. So he wears only two T-shirts every day. He wears the same two T-shirts on a rolling basis every other day. So that T-shirt that was purchased about this time in 2014. So for the past 5 years, even though he has grown a lot, he still wears that T-shirt. He will cry if you don't give him the T-shirt. He's about to tear. During the video, she was shouting, "Why do you want to make him wear this poor bad T-shirt? Because of the back, there are a lot of tears, and even now, if you just touch it, the whole thing will come apart." But I'm happy that he's got this mindset. He's got this frugal mindset like me. I also rotate around 2 or 3 shirts. That's all. I don't go too much around my wardrobe. So in that sense, I'm happy the apple has not fallen far from the tree. So that's about it. It's a fairly decent exercise to do. I mean, good news, I think, in the last 5 years. I don't know. There should be a past performance disclaimer clearly for the next 5 years. I hope. I don't want any good news in life anymore. I just want no news is good news. Uneventful life is all I want. Of course, that's not going to happen. So my request to all of you is that to sit down today, this evening, with your spouse, with your partner, maybe with your parents, just with your children, whoever you think is appropriate. Just do this exercise. Just make a list of where you were, what you are today now, and how things have changed. Just talk about it with your family for 15-20 minutes. Please feel free to share whatever you think is appropriate in the comments below. I'll be very happy to read them. You can make goals. I don't believe in making goals. My wife and I talk, we don't think beyond tomorrow in certain things. Although I talk about financial planning, retirement planning for the future, all that aside, I don't make goals beyond tomorrow, because so many bad things have happened to us in the past that we don't want to make goals. We are kind of multiple times bitten, so multiple times overshot. But you can make goals about what you want to accomplish over the next 5 years. If you are younger than me, definitely in your 20s and 30s, I think you should make goals. A list of things that you want in your life, for your family, for yourself. And I think go use that as a target and start achieving that. So please try this exercise and let me know what are the results. Whatever you can share, please do share. So I'll catch you again in another video. Thank you as always for watching. Bye bye.